This is a journey of a real person in a stable job, staring at a business listing on the screen and slowly realizing that if the heat didn't act, nothing would actually change. It's the pull between a steady income and the idea of owning something yourself. Running the numbers again and again, thinking about rent, staffing, and worst case scenario, trying to work out whether this is a smart step forward or a mistake you will regret. It follows one buyer who kept his corporate job, dug deeply into a service business, worked through pricing, lease risk, and the deal structure, and eventually took over a dog daycare business in Sydney. You will see how the deal began, how the numbers shifted, what nearly derailed it, and how the buyer adjusted and why the final outcome worked for both sides. And if you ever look at the business and quietly thought, could I actually do this? This story will feel familiar. The buyer, who we'll call Mark, worked in a senior role in the technology sector. He has spent years building teams, managing complex projects, and making decisions where the numbers matter. His wife, Emily, worked in retail. Between them, they had a stable income and a predictable routine. Life worked, but something was missing. They had talked about it for years, owning something together, building an asset that wasn't tied to an employer or a title. Not chasing a lifestyle business or dream scenario, just something real that could stand on its own. They were clear about their starting point. They didn't come from a dog industry. They had never run a small business, so that wasn't ignored. It shaped every decision they made. Mark didn't quit his job. This was deliberate. Income stability mattered, so did lender confidence. Keeping his role means the business wouldn't be forced to carry pressure it shouldn't have from day one. In May 2024, we listed a dog daycare business in Sydney for sales. From the start, it stood out for the right reason. The business sat in an affluent neighborhood, surrounded by apartment building and the long-term residents. The customer base was local and deeply recurring. Referral came from neighbors, friends, and family. The business wasn't built on heavy marketing or discount. It was built on routine, trust, and convenience. The premises supported the model, 2 levels, purpose-built by the previous owner, retail and reception at the front, downstairs, operation space behind, daycare upstairs, and the predictable dedicated drop-off and pickup area. Financially, the business was strong. Revenue in FY23 was to $918,000 and grew to $968,000 in FY24. Around 95% of income came from services. Grooming accounted for roughly half, daycare just another half, and a small retail component. The customer base was stable and predictable. Google reviews reflected that, sitting at 4.8 stars. The owners were hands-on, but the business didn't rely solely on them. There was a team of 8 staff across operation, customer service, grooming, and daycare. Including wages and distribution, the owners were earning over $500,000 a year. Interest in the business came quickly once it was listed. So not long after listing, 3 inspections were held with different buyers. One of those resulted in an early offer of $250,000. The offer wasn't realistic and rejected. In the meantime, Mark and Emily were deep in the information memorandum, building a real understanding of how the business operated day to day. They worked through how a normal week actually ran, what happened when staff were sick, how grooming schedules were managed, and so on. They look at where bottlenecks appear during peak time, which system live in software and which live in people's heads. So by September 2024, another serious buyer emerged. This buyer submitted an offer of $1 million all cash. Mark submitted an offer of $950,000, structured with $100,000 as vendor finance over 12 months. So both buyers were credible, both had funding. On headline term, the cash offer looked stronger. And the lease was due for renewal. So the plan had always been to negotiate once a serious buyer emerged. So that was the surprise landed. The existing rents, approximately 82,000, was well below market in the landlord's view. A market review was triggered. The initial proposal came back at around a 55% increase, driven by surrounding development and the opening of a new metro station. After a lengthy negotiation, this was reviewed to roughly 40%, but still material. The single change reduced net profit by around 33,000. Nothing else had changed. So same business, same customer, same staff, and same system, but the future profitability was lower. Buyers and seller stepped back. Then eventually the vendor agreed to lower the price. So both buyers were asked to revise their offer. So this was the moment where deals often fall apart. So surprise came out. So then Mark and Emily went back to fundamental, they stress test cash flow under the new rent, working through downside scenario and transition risks. Mark revised his offer to 880,000, maintaining the 100,000 vendor finance component. The other buyer revised their offer to 800,000, all cash. On price alone, neither matched the early expectation, of course, but this was no longer a price-only decision. So Mark's offer, including a digital transition plan, 4 weeks of full-time training, followed by part-time support. He requested the ability to begin hiring during the due diligence, bringing in additional operation and front-of-the-house support to reduce his reliance on the seller. From the seller perspective, this matter, they care about their staff and their customer. So Mark was selected as the preferred buyer. So then a letter of intent was signed, a $5,000 deposit was paid, due diligence commenced. So the financial access was reviewed, staff roster analyzed, supply chains and customer relationship examined, equipment and maintenance, schedule check. So this wasn't about finding fault. This was about knowing exactly what was being taken on. So the contracts exchanged in mid-December 2024. Settlement followed in mid-January 2025 after Christmas, with structure and pre- and post-settlement training and several months of ongoing support to ensure a smooth transition. So for Mark and Emily, this wasn't a sudden leap. It was a gradual shift from employee to owner, from predictable income to building real assets. As this video is being recorded, they have been owner for over a year. Like any real business, there have been ups and downs, but they have grown together. They now own something real, operating and fully under their control. I'm sincerely so happy for them. So finally, if you found this story useful, it would mean a lot if you like this video and subscribe to our channel. We share real buyer journey, real deals, and practical insight into what actually happened behind the scene when people buy businesses. Turn on notifications as well, because we regularly post new content that can help you think more clearly, avoid mistakes, and move forward with confidence and when the time is right. So thank you. Until next time.